Oh wow, I'm out of focus. Okay. Hopefully I'm back in focus. Um, yeah, hello, welcome back. Or welcome, but welcome back, I guess. This is the third video in my Learning Haskell adventure. I've actually, it's been a bit strange. I've been trying to fight the urge to read up some more or do some more work in this. It's kind of weird because I want to learn Haskell, so you think reading up on stuff or playing with Haskell some more would be a good thing. But I was thinking about a comment that Axel made last week about live streaming while learning, and I think part of what I want to do with this is to kind of show what it's like when I learn a new thing. Because quite often when I give a talk or do a presentation, I try and appear competent and like I know what I'm doing, and that's not really true a lot of the time. I think a lot of the time I'm just bumbling around. So I think part of the fun of this is to show what happens when I don't know how to do something. So because of that, I haven't done any prep again for this, which could make it a little challenging this week, but we'll see how we get on. What's a comment from Kerry? I've heard that leaving yourself wanting more is a good way to stay motivated. That's true, actually. Yeah, I guess if I'd played with it in the week, there's a danger I might have not been as excited about doing it this time. Okay, so let's pick up from last week. Igor, I know you weren't here last week. I don't know if you watched the video, but I'll start with a quick recap of what we did anyway, partly because it's interesting. So we're building this script or this program to take a file and extract the symbols and tell me how frequently the symbols appear in that file. And then we can move on to look at counting chains of symbols as well. And in week one, I wrote extract symbols, which was very simple. Nice little one-liner. So we just take out the alphanumeric characters and then filter the input string with that. What we then did last week is we took that filtered string, so it's a list of characters, and we turned it into a map where the key is the symbol, the character in this case, and the value is the number of times it appears. And we did it with this monstrosity. So a lot of last week was trying to work out how maps work. The update map here uses the insert with key function that comes from data.map. And what this does is it takes a map, this is the last argument here, an existing map. So we start with the empty map. It takes the key here, which is the character that we're pulling out of this string of characters, takes a value, in this case, the default value, the value 1. And if that key does not exist in the map already, it just sets it to 1. But if it does exist, then it calls this function, we call SumValues. And that takes 3 arguments. It takes the key, I think it took, the new value and the old value. So the old value will be whatever is in the map, and the new value is this 1 that we're putting in. And then we do is we add 1 onto the old value. And then what this does is it returns a new map where that key has been replaced with whatever, or the value of that key has been replaced with whatever comes back from SumValues. And then we just use foldle. We use foldle to fold over this list of symbols. So we have a string here, which is a list of the symbols we're interested in. We start off with an empty map, and then we apply this update map for every value, so basically for every character, a lot of sims. And what that does basically is it returns a map where we go from sim to count, the frequency of that symbol. That's cool. We also wrote a test. We started off by writing a test. Don't know why this error comes up. Must fix that someday. But our test said if we count this symbol frequency, so did I call the function that? I can't remember. Yeah, count symbol frequency. If I call count symbol frequency with this string with some symbols and some alphanumeric characters, then it should be a sorted list of tuples where it has the frequency of each symbol. I think if I run this, I don't know if it'll run or not, we'll find out, but if it does run, it's going to fail because we're not handing back this sorted list of tuples. So let's just see if we can run it. First of all, oh, no, build task found. What? Run test task, not build task. Okay, not quite expected. Could not load module data map in hidden package containers. I thought we fixed this last time, but obviously we didn't. Okay, so if I go to my package.yaml, oh, I know what happened. Okay, I think I know what happened. So we added containers as a dependency when we're building the executable, but we didn't add it as a dependency of the tests. So let me just do that. Go back to my test, try running it again. Hopefully this time it should compile and run. It did not. Developing code is awful because you spend all of your time arguing with the build system and other crap and not much writing code. So dependency containers in tests, dependency containers for executables. Don't see any difference between the two of those. Oh, I've worked out in passing why HSpec couldn't be found, and that's because it's in the test dependency and not in the main dependency. Okay, let's go terminal, new fish. If I run stack test, I think that's what's happening from my default test task I set up. Give me the same error. Let me just look at the cabal file because you need to make sure it's actually added it in there. Test suite, build depends containers. Okay, I don't know what's going on now. That's really quite annoying. I'm seeing to add containers to the build depends. The build depends of your cabal file. And in my cabal file, build depends has got containers. I don't understand why that wouldn't work. It's there in... Oh, I've got a library as well. Okay, that's probably what it is. Do I need a comma between these things? Yes, I do. Oops, I'm not going to put it in there. I'm going to put it in package.yaml because it overwrites it otherwise. Okay, so we have 3 different build targets in here, I guess. Yeah, I think if I just put it in dependencies, it should be picked up as a dependency for the library. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I just wanted to run the test and watch it fail so that we could start writing some code, but it's not gone very well. That seems to have made a difference. Cool, I think. Let's see what it said. Good. That's kind of the expected error. So we told it that it's going to get a list of tuples containing a string and an int. It should actually be a character int, looking at that tuple. Anyway, in fact, that's what's complaining about. Yeah, make the test fail for the right reason. So there's two errors to come up with. One is I got this type wrong, and it's complaining about that. I told it it's a string and an int, and it should be a character and a B0. I guess B0 it hasn't resolved yet. It's just stopped at character because I got it wrong. It's also a list, and I've told it it's just a tuple. That's a bit stupid. Okay, the second failure is the one that I really expected. I said it was going to be of type string int, and actually the type is this map containing a character to an integer. Okay, so we can start working through that. First failure, first problem, I guess, is I got this type wrong. So it's not a string int, it's a character and then an int. Run the test again. It should be down to one error. It should be the error I want. Yep, one error. And it's, yeah, because it expects a tuple of character to int, and I'm giving it back this map. So I think what I want to do is write a function which takes this map of character to int, turns it into a tuple, and then maybe sorts a tuple. There are probably better ways of doing that, but it seems like a thing I can start to write now and maybe learn some stuff from. So I'm just going to quickly rename this function. To count symbol frequency prime, because this is the one that does the real work, but I'm going to create a kind of interface to it, which takes the map and does the right thing for me. So we want this to go from a string to a list of character and int. Okay, it's going to be equal to something, right? So what we're going to do is, well, we want to call our function that we wrote last week, which turns it into a map, and then we want to do something with that map. What can we do with the map, I wonder? Let's bring up a REPL, stack REPL. And ask for info. Is this, I don't know if this works or not. Can you ask it for info about data map? No. Okay, if you can ask it for info, so I'm just going to go to Google, I think. So let's have a look at data.map again. Okay, so we were playing with insert with and so on. Fold. So don't use it, use folder. I think we're a lazy map by default. I think this is what I was looking at last time. So you can go from unordered lists. Can you go to unordered lists? No. No. We could map. We could fold over it, which would let us write our own way of turning it into tuples. In fact, we could just map it, I suppose. It looks like, if you look at the output here, it looks like exactly what we want. Well, not really, because our map wouldn't do anything. And we could map it with ID. Yeah, if it is there, I think it'll be called toList as well. Let's try searching for toList, see if it exists. Yes. List convert the map to list of key value pairs. That looks like the thing we want. Okay, cool. So here we could just say to list. I need to import that. I'll sort out the edit reduction in a second. To list. It should be warning me about this. Oh, it's not warning me. Okay. So, I mean, I'm going to edit reduction now. We don't need to pass S in like that. We can just join its functions together. So if I go back to my spec and run the test, will it magically work? Hopefully it'll be unsorted. That's what I'm expecting at this point. Lib does not export count symbol frequency. Oh, okay. I did a fancy rename, count symbol frequency to count symbol frequency prime, and I didn't really mean to do that because it did this one, which is off the screen. Try that again. Two times one failure. Excellent. Okay. So problem we have is we're not sorting our list, and I'm glad it fails in the expected way. Failing, I could just put sort. Although it's a list of tuples, so is there a sort? No. Is there a data.map.sort? I'm not importing it. Okay. Should we bookmark Google so I can go back to the beginning? So I'm looking for sort. Data.list.sort. Sort by. Okay. So sort by takes is a function with two arguments and returns an ordering. Takes a list, returns a list, and an ordering is going to be less than, equal to, or greater than. Okay, so if we, I'm going to, oops, that's what I'm doing there. I'm going to flesh this out in the REPL first, I think. Can you say import here, or did you say plus M? I never remember how to use REPL. Data.list. Okay, so if you now say what's the type of sort by, that's the thing we want. Okay, cool. So we have a list of tuples. So let's say it's A is 5. Yeah, A is 5, and F, because that's where my finger was, happens to be 3, and another one, I've got A already, R is 9. And then we want to sort that by taking the tuple out and then sorting it by the second argument in that. Is this function compare? Yeah. It's because I didn't say what's type of compare. Okay, compare takes two things and returns an ordering. So I say compare, for example, 5 and 9. It's less than, so 5 is less than 9. So if I say sort by, and then we want a function, so it's going to take two arguments. Let's call these A and B. And it needs to return an ordering, but B we can actually pattern match on, I think. So we can say something inside the tuple, and then this value B. Then we can say, we can actually pattern match them both, because it's two tuples. I'm not going to call them A and B because I've used A before, and I'll confuse myself by rebinding that. So this should be the two numerical values, and we should say compare X and Y, and that's what we're going to return, and we'll feed it A, which is cool, except I want it the other way around. So we can just flip that. There we go. Okay, so that's how we can sort our list of character and count values, or pairs, whatever. So we can say sort by some of these. I want a name for a function here to sort it by. So sort by let's say frequency. We haven't got sort by frequency. Okay, so we need to pull it in first of all. Import data dot list, and the only thing we want from the list is sort by. So now we don't have frequency yet, so we can say where. So frequency is going to take, it's a new line, frequency is going to take two arguments. First argument is going to be a pair of something and an int. It doesn't actually need to be an int, does it? It needs to be just an ordering. So we could say where frequency, it takes order B takes a pair of AB and another pair of AB, and it returns an ordering. And then we can say frequency of, and then we'll pattern match in here, so we go something and X and something and Y is equal to compare YX. I wonder, I mean, that seems fine. I just wonder if there's a way that is a function when given a tuple will return the second element from it. Yes, it's called second, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So we could actually be better than that, I think. So we call second of let's say A and 4 or 5 in return 5. So could we say I wonder how you apply it to both arguments is the only problem. I was going to say you could say compare the second of second of x, the second of the argument that's passed in, with the second of y, but that's not going to be any better. What I was really thinking is, what I'd like to do is say compare map second, flip map second. So flip will take the two arguments and turn them around. So give it up for a second. If I say flip 6 and 4, it doesn't work. I thought flip would just take two arguments and reverse them. Oh, flip takes the whole function. Okay, do you know what? I'm getting distracted here. Let's stop doing that. I'm just going to go with this slightly simpler, understandable solution. So if I rerun the test, it'll work. Yay! Cool. I might come back to this at some point because I feel like there's a thing I could understand by making this work as the composition of compare and flip and second and maybe some kind of map thing, but it's not going to help me at this point. Okay, so I now have a test. Now I have a test. It says you can give it a string, and then it returns this output to you, or at least this list of tuples. So what we could then do is something which prints that, I guess. So let's go to our main for a second. Not yet implemented. I'm just going to set up a task for running this. Bind to that build task. That will do. Okay. No. How do you create a new task? Configure task. Okay, so a new task in here, and we'll say label is build or run. Run seems nice. Type is shell. Command is stack. Actually, stack run. We don't care about the compilation output. Group. We want build is default true. That'll become our build task. And we'll do presentation as well. So what was the opposite of what it puts in here that I want? It's going to be false. They'll always focus false panel dedicated. Clear is true, so we won't show the previous output, and show reuse message is false. Okay, back to here. So then I can say run, and it should run that and say not implemented yet. Cool. In lib, we have, ooh, that's not helpful. I think what we exported from lib, do we use, did we export? Count symbol frequency. Okay. So I think we can say something like, let symfrec, just going to call result. Oh, it's Haskell. I can give it a single letter. Let x equal count symfric, and we'll give it a string. So we'll give it some random symbols. And then can we show that? I'll use print. It says use print, but it doesn't put an empty line. So print x and then put an empty line. Okay, I get the feeling that it doesn't know how to show this map. Although it might be because it's from data.map, so maybe it already knows how to show that. It does, okay, cool. So it prints this out. So we could make this a little bit prettier. Probably a few ways of doing that, but what I might do is a website called pointfree.io that'll do that. Yeah, I kind of want to go through the pain of learning it, because I think I'd learn a lot from it, but I'm going to maybe come back to it later. Okay, I want to remember what the names of the various string building helper things are in Haskell. How would I do that? Haskell string builder. I can't remember what they're called. There's like a name for string builders. It might just be this. No. Okay. So, I'm going to write this inefficiently and then we can come back and look at it. So I can do this by concatenating strings together. It's horribly inefficient, I believe. But we can come back and do it with some nicer library later, I guess, if we get it working. So I'm going to write a function called format some frequency. And it's going to take the type of this thing, the symfric, so that's going to be, I should really give this a name, a map from, sorry, a list of tuples from character to integer count, and it's going to return just a string. So if we take our sim frequency here, what we can do is we could just, let's just fold, because why not, eh? So we want to go, so we're going to fold over format I'm really struggling here to think of what to call things. I'm going to call it format frequency. We'll take an empty string to start with, and we'll fold over SF, which is my last element, so I can just need to reduce it, apparently. Where format frequency, we'll go take a tuple of character and an end, and frequency is equal to key, the symbol, and then the count. We can just do something stupid, couldn't we? We could say S++ that plus, oops, plus count. And to show the count. Plus, and then new line. I need to stop and read those warnings in a second. So, couldn't match expected type, list of characters. Oh yes, it's because no, hang on. List of characters to character int. Just returns a thing. Okay, now we're getting there. I don't know why I tried to fold over an empty string. So I just forgot how to code, I think. Okay, so the argument of full takes a string in this case, which is our accumulator, what we've got so far. And then we can do a C++. Looks like it was map. So yeah, I could map it into a list of single lines and then join them. Yeah, I agree with Kerry. Okay, so let's just map over that. I'll delete that and go back to what we had before because that's what I'd written. Okay, so what's it taking? It's taking a list of taking a list of tuples containing a character and an integer. Right, I'm calling map on it. Let's keep playing with that. So S is a single character, is that right? Okay, we're getting there. Couldn't I type list of character with character? So where is getting a single character from? Format frequency is taking a single element from inside there, returning a string. Okay, so of course it returns a list of strings. Okay, so that's a single line of those. So is there a way to join the strings back together again? So we're looking for something that goes from a list of strings to single string. Undefined. Come on, you can do this search, not that hard. Unlines. Joins lines after terminating the line to each. Oh, lovely. Unlines of that. No, I don't need the bracket. I didn't read the error message. So we now go back to a single string. Okay. Let's see if that works. So what I actually want to do is print format sim frequency of x. I don't actually want to print it. I want to put string in it because it's now returning a string back to me. And we'll see if that looks any better. Oh yeah, I don't need to join the blank line in the end. Try it again. Okay, that's cool. So it's showing me the symbols that I have and the frequency in which they occur, sorted into most frequent first. Now let's read a file. I get the feeling that there's something like read file. And then some names. We could do like main.hs. It's not called that, it's called app/main.hs. Of the input. Sorry, I've forgotten to call my function on it. I'll just do a series of steps for now, and then we'll come back and sort it out when my brain can catch up. So take the input and we call count symbol frequency on it, and then we're going to format that, and then we're going to print it. Cool, and these are the things that appear in this file. So there are a lot of spaces, we should probably get rid of those. A lot of new lines, we should get rid of those as well. 6 colons, thankfully a matching number of opening and closing parentheses, and then quotes and other symbols. Cool, almost there. So I'll just get rid of those spaces, and then we'll have something which reads a single file. Now I should probably like create a get repo and commit something at some point before I lose it, but yeah, a minute. Back to my spec. So let's put some stuff in here to confuse it. I'll just stick some spaces in. So I run the test. This should not fail. Look at me writing test-driven code. Okay, so we go back to extract symbols. So I think I go back to Bash. Yeah. We have this is alpha num. Not in scope. Where did that come from? It came from char. Did I say char? Is like it's short for character. Is space? Is white space? It's not completing for me, so I'm just going to guess. Yes. Okay. So is space, and then we'll give it. Well, it takes a character, isn't it? We'll give it a space. True and tab. True and new line is true. Cool. Do you have or? Yep. It takes a foldable. Wow. It takes a. Oh, I'm sure. Looks like it's not an infix, and it takes a list of bools or some kind of foldable of bools, like or true, false. Yeah, but I want to. Oh, I have to unpoint freeify this, I think, because we're going to say it is alpha num space or applied to the list is alpha num space or is space. Space. I don't like that. I mean, I could just use that, but it doesn't seem great. I could filter it twice, but that doesn't seem great either. I take it I can't just do this. No. I probably can't do that either. No, that was a bit optimistic. Boolean disjunction. Maybe that might be a better approach. Okay. Still can't point free it, but it's at least nicer, I guess. This feels like the kind of thing that would be easy. I'm sure there's a function in Haskell which would let me apply a list of functions to a single argument, but I don't know what that would be. So we'll just write it out long form. So long, this form. Okay. And because it's because it's not point free anymore, I can't just use function composition because we're passing elements in the middle here. So not in scope is space. We'll probably put that in quite easily. Couldn't match type. Blah blah. Oh, okay. So I need to. Oh, goodness sake! And I need to do anonymous function. Yeah. Just things like that by lifting it over an applicative monad. Let's not do that this week. So filter is now going to take function which is given each character in turn. It's going to call that, and we're going to apply it to s. So we don't need to specify s. We need to do that. Okay, that seems to work. So I run my program again. I pressed before, but now I got rid of the white space characters. Cool. Okay. Let's initialize a Git repo in here. Or not. Don't know what happened there. No, so what are we going to commit here? This is a lot of craft that was created by Stack for me. This is annoying. Okay, so I need to sort my key bindings, which I fixed on my work machine but haven't shared back to here. I want to stage all of those. We might as well stage the VS Code. In fact, let's just stage everything. So YAML.lock, I think it's fine. We check that in. We don't mind updating that as we add dependencies. And I think that should be okay. So I go commit and go initial version to count. Oh, it only works on a hard-coded file, doesn't it? Symboled in file. That'll do. At least it's committed now. Something to do in main is maybe get to take an argument. Actually, I wonder if I could simplify this a bit and then get to take an argument. So if I go down here a second and goes there, there's this thing called interact, which will, I think, act like read line, whatever it's called. So it'll read some input from the user. I don't really want that. I want to call it with a command line argument and use that as the name of the file. So I expect to say something like character frequency and then @/main. So how do you read command line arguments? Command line argument. System.environment. So args or get args. Okay, that's kind of easy enough. Import system.environment and what was it? Get args? Yeah. So we can just take, oh, that's not safe. Okay. What? I want like a safe version of head. I think does exist. That's from stream. What I want is something with from list of A's to maybe A. If you don't provide an argument, I don't want it to panic. List to maybe safe head. Okay, the safe version of head is called safe head. I probably should have guessed that. Do I have access to it? I guess it doesn't look like some prelude. No. Don't really want to put them from Cabal, I don't think. Distribution of simple.utils. Sounds like some random thing. What is this package? Large and somewhat miscellaneous collection of util functions. It feels like it should be a safe head. Oh, everyone's implemented it everywhere. I'm going to protobuf. Protolude. Well, that's a replacement for prelude, isn't it? I'm just going to write it. It's probably quicker. So safe head is going to go from a list of A's. Let's do foldable. No, it's not foldable, it's traversable. Traversable F. So FA to maybe A. So safe head, the empty list is nothing. couldn't match F with that. What? Okay, that'll teach me for trying to be clever. Let's just do list of A's. And safe head of, so I guess like it's X and then whatever is X, is just X. Okay. So file name is maybe say let's, so this works. File name is safe head of get args. Okay. Now I need to remember how to do applicable things. Will that actually work? No. Oh, how do I do this? I kind of want to slide this into the IO. And I can't remember how that works or really what I'm talking about. I'm going to look up applicable. You know what? I'm going to stop there because 2 minutes ago is not the time to look up applicable. Except that maybe I'll ask it. So it's info applicable. Not so applicable. Oh. What? Info monad? Does that work? Yes, it does. Applicative. Okay. So I think it's this I want to use. So F in this case is our IO monad. So F A to B. Oh, maybe it's not. Just for a second. I've got safe head, nothing, and safe head of 1 is just 1. I've got 2 problems, haven't I? Because I want this under IO. I mean, I could probably maybe just lift IO for that. I'll have to look up. It's probably in control monad. And I also need to unpack the maybe. So I maybe need. Yeah. Okay. Let's just assume it works. Let's not worry about safety. This is Haskell. We got types, it'll be fine. So F name is. Oops, sorry. I'm running get args. And then we will do that with F name. You can match type a rare character with character. What does get args give us? Oh, try head. Okay, so we get first argument name, assume it exists, and we'll count it up. So in theory, I can say something like stack run /main dot hs. Is that going to work? Yes, it does. Cool. And we can run it on something like lib. I think I put this in lib. No, source lib, maybe. Can't remember. Let's go have a look. Lib is source/lib.hs, so source/lib.hs, and it gives us the symbols we're using there. Okay, cool. It kind of works. Just quickly commit that change. Oops. So I'm just going to actually unstage that. That's good, except I haven't staged anything. So let's stage everything. Unstage save head for a second. So now we're going to commit the change where we pull in getArgs and we use getArgs. Commit that. And we'll say read file name from command argument. Okay, cool. So next week, I'll see if I can get SafeHead to work with that. And also, maybe I don't need to get SafeHead to work, because maybe I could just give it a list of files. I could count it in every file I give it. Then I wouldn't need to worry about all of that. But I wouldn't learn as much. So I'm kind of curious about SafeHead and applying it to getArgs. And then if that works, or when that works, or when I give up on it, we can look at this idea, which is actually counting up chains of symbols, which is much more interesting because then we need to preserve state. I was kind of thinking we might use the state motor for that, but maybe we wouldn't actually, because we are doing all of our work really in this fold. And instead of giving it a map, we could give it a tuple, which is a map on the previous characters, which were symbols. But that's for next week, I think. So we're good for today. Yeah, thank you for watching along, and hopefully see you next week. Bye.